Hind Podcast, marhaba, marhaba, marhaba. Hind Podcast, marhaba, marhaba, marhaba. Yalla habibi, mashallah habibti, yalla.
Check. How's everyone doing today? Welcome to Hind Podcast. Again, I'm doing this by myself. We have Hind here helping, but she's not going to be on camera just because of everything that's going on right now. Crazy times in the United States. But we thought we would catch up with everyone. There's a lot of things we want to talk about that are going on in the news, a lot of current events. And we thought we'd just take our time, go through things, and then later we'll piece together some videos out of this. But since, it's a learning curve still. So because we're live, everyone is welcome to call into the show. The number is, call us on WhatsApp at +1 614 322 2846. Can we pin that number let me pin that number. Six, right?
No.
Oh.
Actually not.
Maybe tell her.
614.
+1?
Yeah.
Okay.
332 2811.
Oh. Okay.
I don't know where it came.
614-332-2811. You guys are welcome to call in, and if you need to speak Arabic, we can translate that too. So,
If you want to delete the other comment.
yeah.
It's okay. It's okay, babe.
All right. So anyways, so many things are going on right now. The world is, it's been 3 months that Trump has been president, and it feels like the entire world is on the brink of disaster. So, I mean, the good news is that the United States will probably not attack Iran. Have you heard about that? No. All right, let's take a look here. Where should we begin? Right now, there's a big fight going on between the Trump administration and Harvard University. They're trying to get Harvard University to deal with. There's a lot of words they use, and there's what they're saying and what they mean. And the Trump administration is saying that they're trying to get Harvard to stop using DEI practices, diversity, equity, and inclusion. It's like if you have a quota, like we need so many females, we need so many African Americans, we need so many Hispanics, that kind of stuff. But in the verbiage, in the actual request itself, it has to do with a lot about anti-Semitism. There's a big push right now in the United States to broadly ascribe many things as anti-Semitic that probably aren't anti-Semitic. For example, criticizing Israel. So this is a big push right now. Trump has suspended money to Harvard. I think they're trying to get their tax-exempt status taken away. Hey, guys. Hey, Narob. Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining us, guys. Let's see here. Aha. Yeah, this is the letter that was sent to Harvard. How do I put my safe in the corner?
On. Yes.
Okay. So these are basically the bullet points they're going after: governance and leadership reforms, merit-based hiring reform, merit-based admission reform, international admissions reform, viewpoint diversity in admissions and hiring, reforming programs and egregious records of anti-Semitism. It's crazy. Discontinuation of DEI, student discipline and accountability. Anyways, these when it comes to this kind of stuff, the legal language is so broad and it's so non-descriptive that it doesn't actually mean anything. This is essentially about politics. This is the Trump administration trying to bully Harvard to, probably because Trump is trying to make his donors happy. So they're arresting a lot of students who criticize Israel. That's what it is about. It's about criticizing Israel. The problem is that over the last year, Israel has really made itself look bad in the eyes of the world. So many things. They've I'm taking a look here. I have some notes. There was another student that was just arrested the other day too.
Mohsen Mahdawi.
Yeah, Mohsen Mahdawi.
We did it because of our love for humanity, our love for justice, our love for human rights. And I want people to know that my compassion extended beyond the Palestinian people. My compassion is also for the Jewish people and for the Israelis as well. So people need to actually look at both sides and figure out.
Yeah, so he's a peace activist and a Palestinian. I think his best friend was murdered in front of him. When he was 10 years old, the IDF shot him because apparently the IDF likes to shoot 10-year-olds and other children. But he was born in a refugee camp. He was from Jenin. He was a graduate student at Columbia University, so he's a bright guy. But the important thing is that this guy didn't do anything wrong. This guy didn't break the law. This guy is not a criminal. This guy's not a dangerous person. This person is not a threat to the United States foreign policy. Arresting people like this, that's a threat to the United States foreign policy. That's what's going to destabilize the entire world. Do you know what his crime was? His crime was having the moral high ground. He stood up to evil. I mean, I never imagined that I would see this many Americans despising Israel. But over the last year, everything that Israel has done has just made people despise them. I mean, if you're an American and you're under 50 years old, statistically, you're most likely to have unfavorable views of Israel. This has been a drastic shift from any time before. And the reason people who are over 50 more likely to have a favorable view of Israel is because a lot of these people aren't very connected with their smartphones, and they sort of get all their information from echo chambers like mass media, CNN, Fox News. So they're not exposed to multiple sources to let them know what's going on, because at the end of the day, Israel live streamed this genocide in front of the world. They burned a bunch of little girls the other night in a tent, and today they were posting pictures of the burnt body parts on social media. It's insane. At this rate, do you know that statistically, let's say nothing changes. Actually, let's say that things change. Let's say Israel ends apartheid. Israel shows contrition. Israel pays reparations. Israel does things to say, hey, we know we were wrong and we want to be better. We want to make up for it. And it does this rebranding campaign. Even then, within 10 years, by 2035, just statistically, Israel's still on track to have a 70% unfavorability rating in the United States. 70%. That's like abortion. This bipartisan, I've never seen something so bipartisan spread so fast. But it just looks like Israel has completely destroyed the reputation. From an outsider watching them, it looks like they traded their dignity for short-term sadism.
What is a sadism?
Sadism is someone who takes pleasure in watching pain in others.
Oh.
Sadist.
Yeah.
It's they took hubristic violence to unseen levels. We've never seen this kind of stuff in the West in our lifetime. This stuff exists in the world. The things that happened in Syria were horrible, but we weren't as connected to everything happening in Syria. Anyways, it's just, I feel like I had deja vu about this. So anyways, I think this guy's from Jenin, and Israel has ethnically cleansed Jenin over the last year. I don't know if he has even a place to go back to. Where do these people go? These stateless citizens. It's becoming more and more of a thing to be a stateless citizen. Like, in the Middle East, especially. In the Middle East, Hind grew up in the UAE, where there's generations of second-class citizens, people that are Palestinian or some other ethnic group. They don't have a country.
It's a more common problem than you realize.
Yes.
A lot of people are suffering from it. And it's a problem when it's coming to America. Now, it's in America. Like the governments, both governments actually, Democrats and Republicans, they don't want to give immigrants any rights. They want to keep second-class citizenship status the way it is. And now Trump administration realizes how immigrants learned how to get some rights, wants to kick them out.
Yeah. What was it? All right, so over the last year, over the past 365 days, Kuwait denaturalized 42,000 people.
That's insane.
That's insane. So 42,000 people all of a sudden don't have a country. Do you know, in the United States, citizenship is an inalienable right. I think there are some really extreme situations where you could become a naturalized citizen and then have that citizenship revoked. But essentially, if you are a U.S. citizen, you cannot be made not a U.S. citizen. It's established case law. It's an inalienable right. Now, whether they may change the law for people that are born here or not, that's different. But everyone that was born here is a U.S. citizen. Everyone whose parents were U.S. citizens is a U.S. citizen. But yeah, in Kuwait, they're revoking people's citizenships, and of course they give excuses like
they say they committed fraud or their grandparents committed fraud. Like this person, grandfather committed fraud to get a Kuwaiti citizenship. Therefore, anyone who got it by descent got it by fraud because the grandparent committed fraud.
Yeah, so really what this is about is Kuwait's dollar revenues are decreasing, and it's a power grab. they're trying to consolidate the power, so making fewer people, fewer hands to feed. You know, the citizens are who get, you know, government benefits, get government pensions, get food assistance if they need it, healthcare if they need it. So the non-citizens don't get anything, but that's insane. Like, how many? Think about this in 20 years, 30 years, 50 years. What proportion of the world will be stateless? It's so scary. I mean, it's going to be a whole new reality. I mean, the world is only so big. You can only expand for so long, and to the point where countries start denying citizenship to people that are are more likely than not someone who would qualify as a citizen in the country where they're being denied.
Yeah, like they don't look like zombies. These people look exactly like their fellow citizens. Like, imagine some other white dude who's just like you, because his grandpa committed fraud in getting a U.S. citizenship. He now faces that consequence.
I mean, I think that I saw one story in Kuwait where they took some guy's citizenship away just because he advocated for Bedouin rights. So I mean, it's not even factual, the things they're doing. They're just throwing a big net, and they're just, you know, the law is what we write on paper.
You know who are the Bedouins?
Tell me.
So they're actually not the Bedouins. They are the Bedouin.
Okay.
The Bedouin are people who are stateless from the get-go. Like, since Kuwait was established, they did not go and seek their citizenship, so they lost that chance, and now they are stateless. Most of them are Bedouins, because Bedouins do not have an authority figure. They are free. They do whatever they want. They are brave. These are their values. So when Kuwait was established, they were like, why would we give power to this family? Who is this family? The land is God's land. So they did not seek their citizenships. So they lost that chance to become a citizen. And Kuwait has not given them any citizenship rights since Kuwait was established. If you can look up what year Kuwait was established, I bet it's in the 60s or 50s, or maybe later. Like, it's a new country, you know. But since it was established, these people have been stateless.
Yeah, I can look it up. Kuwait founded date 1961.
Yeah.
So Kuwait has been a country since 1961.
So
Okay.
when Kuwait was established back then, they told the citizens to go and get registered and get their papers. These people did not do that back then, and they were punished with not being a citizen ever.
So there's been so many things going on in the news right now, and I've been trying to put my head around how to put an episode together. I like the format. I like the format where I can talk to Hind. I actually really enjoy doing that. We've essentially been trying to figure out how to do it, how to make it work without having her on camera, obviously. But some of the stuff with Harvard, look at this. CNN reported Harvard University has rejected the Trump administration's demand for policy changes, putting nearly $9 billion in federal funding at risk. So if you guys don't know, if you guys are from the Middle East, I'm sure everyone's heard of Harvard, but if you haven't heard of Harvard, that's one of our top schools. That's one of the best schools in the world. Let's see here. Trump administration announces freeze in $2.2 billion for Harvard after university rejected request for policy changes. The policy changes were again, it was all about not being able to criticize Israel. I don't know if, at least Stefanik, she's a very cringe lady. She's been posting about this. She's Congresswoman from New York. She's a huge Trump sycophant. President real Donald Trump is absolutely right. Harvard's tax-exempt status should be on the table. When a university abandons its duty to foster truth and safety, embracing divisive ideologies over their public good, it forfeits that privilege. Time to hold them accountable. This is the things they're saying happened. Didn't happen. If there were people that maybe said things that were actually anti-Semitic, that's not good. But it's not uncommon for that stuff to happen. I mean, there were Black Lives Matter protests. There were all kinds of protests throughout American history. And it's just, it is what it is. But the problem is that because Israel right now has made itself look so bad and they've ruined their reputation, now they're trying to do damage control, and they think that they can make it illegal to criticize them. And if they make it illegal to criticize them, then nobody will be able to spread information about the things they're doing, or nobody can give their opinion about how they find it distasteful. That public sentiment will change. Here's another post from at least Stefanik. Statement on Harvard's announcement defined the Department of Education. Harvard University has rightfully earned its place as the epitome of the moral and academic rot in higher education. By the way, you guys, conservatives hate college. and they especially hate Ivy League colleges. But the reason they do that is because they try to appeal to an element in their base, which is an uneducated element, a reactionary element. If you watch the average Republican politician talk on TV, you would think he's a buffoon. You would think he's an idiot because they say such simple gotcha stuff. But they're putting on an act. They're highly intelligent people. They're just putting on an act. Anyways, back to this. Fueled by the radical groupthink far-left faculty, university leadership, donations by foreign adversaries, and pro-Hamas terrorists, Harvard has fully embraced and tolerated the raging anti-Semitism threatening the lives and physical safety of Jewish students on campus. I don't think anybody's life at all was threatened on campus. I mean, there was lives being threatened yesterday at FSU where there was a shooting, but these are actual grown adults saying these things, and they're saying it to get an emotional reaction from their political base. It's time to totally cut off U.S. taxpayer funding to this institution that has failed to live up to the founding motto, Veratus, defund Harvard. So I'm not sure where this is going to go. I think that ultimately, in the end, Harvard will win this fight. I mean, I think they know where to get a few good lawyers, but it's going to be a mess for a while. And I think the Trump administration now is trying to make it difficult for Harvard to accept foreign students. So it's trying to take away their right to accept foreign students. But lately, with all these things going on, people just jump on board, and they're ready to smear anyone. It's like swarms of crazy political sycophants that will just defend their side regardless of what actually happens. There's Katie Collins from CNN. She made the mistake of asking Trump questions. Here are the sins of Katie Collins.
Made the decision to bar the AP reporter from the Oval Office and the diplomatic reception room last night.
Well, first of all, let me just set the record straight. It is a privilege to cover this White House. It's a privilege.
That your national security advisor learned a lesson after a reporter.
Excuse me, I didn't make you. Go ahead, please.
Mr. President, these
You would abide by that. You said that on Air Force One just a few days ago.
And they said do we have to answer this question from you? Why don't you just say, isn't it wonderful that we're keeping criminals out of our country? Why can't you just say that?
What's that legal?
Why do you go over and over? And that's why nobody watches you anymore. You have no credibility.
Let's hear the question from this very low-rated anchor at CB.
Thank you, President. Do you plan to ask President Bukele to help return the man who your administration says was mistakenly deported? The man who was mistakenly deported to El Salvador?
Okay. So that now the White House is talking about revoking her press pass for asking those kind of questions. And everyone, all the Trump supporters are just jumping on board, blindly going down with the ship. Let's look at this stuff. I'll play some of the posts. Give a thumbs up if she should lose her press pass after the way she acts and stupid questions. Stupid questions. America's fallen into a fascist dictatorship. Like, why do people support this? Like, why can't you be a Trump supporter, but then rein it in when he does crazy shit?
Correcting him when he's wrong.
Yeah, like, what's wrong with that? Why do you have to blindly follow him? Why do you have to blindly support all the mistakes he makes? What do you see here? Man or woman? I don't know. I think she's cute. Do you think she looks manly?
Kind of, but who is she?
This is Katie Collins. She's a CNN reporter.
So she's a reporter. Her job is kind of manly, so that's why she got to put on some masculine act, for her job. That's why she's not in a context of being feminine.
Another angle of President Trump ending the career of Katie Collins. This really is a thing of beauty. I voted for this. Really? You voted for this?
King of beauty.
Revoke CNN propagandist Katie Collins' White House press pass credentials and give them to me instead. She is not worthy. I don't know who this guy is. Maybe he's an influencer, trying to be an influencer. But it's like these people don't know what propaganda means. Like, calling her a propagandist is you spreading propaganda. I mean, it's a perfect example of propaganda being spread, misinformation.
Same thing when they say this person is a conspiracy theorist. That means you are the conspiracy, not theorist. You are the conspirer. Conspirist.
Oops. I just figured I'd go back and forth between the... Katie Collins needs to be removed from White House press corps. Have her credentials revoked since she has sold her soul to left-wing lunatic bought and paid for communist new network. She is rude, blatant liar, extremely dishonest. Crazy. All caps. He's emotional. Again, what's your guys' fucking problem? Like, what is your fucking problem? Like, why do you guys have to act this way? I might be more on the liberal side, but I'm pretty much a moderate. But I've never acted this way about trying to defend some politician, especially when they're doing stupid things.
This is how dictatorships start.
This is 100% how dictatorships start and how dictators consolidate power. No question. A seat in the White House press pool is one of the most expensive pieces of federal office space in the country. If you don't understand that is a privilege, not a right, to be there, you're an idiot. That's what people say too now. They're starting to say, it's a privilege, it's a privilege, it's a privilege. Obviously, it's a privilege. It's a privilege. It's not a right. But freedom of the press is a right. And if you're a reporter and you have a pass to the White House, you should be asking, it wasn't even tough questions. Literally, will you follow through with the Supreme Court's ruling? It was not something like abstract or any other bullshit. It was very fucking binary. Yes or no? Yes, no. Free speech is under attack when journalists face calls to lose credentials over sharing newsworthy content. Okay, this person is like on the right side. Like, guys, it should be a litmus test. If you believe in free speech, then you should absolutely not want reporters to lose their credentials for asking questions. If you believe in the rule of law, you should absolutely want to see that Supreme Court rulings are followed. It's literally a litmus test for living in a free society. And most of you guys are failing. You're failing miserably. Remove Katie Collins' press credentials and all access by CNN. They hate CNN. I don't even know why they hate CNN so much. I mean, CNN's kind of moderate. Like, I think, honestly, what this is in conservative media, conservative media paints this image that liberal people, left people, people that ask questions are evil. They're the bad guys. It's about consolidating power. It's literally, again, fascism. A lie that people have been led to believe that half the country is their enemy, that political opponents are the enemy. Political opponents, fellow countrymen, fellow citizens of the United States are your enemy.
You know where this happens?
Where?
In the Middle East.
Yeah, obviously.
Political opponents are enemies. Do you know who they are enemies to?
Who?
The people in power, which usually it's one family.
Yeah.
They threaten their thrones. That's why they're the enemy.
Yeah. I mean, also, it's something, too, where it's a good way to distract people. So if you can get people distracted by telling them that some person is the bad guy and get them obsessed with that other person, then you're not going to have to work very hard to do other things. They think you're doing something, and you're actually doing nothing. It's Pam Bondi. I detest Pam Bondi. New. President Trump is considering revoking CNN's Katie Collins press pass. I really fucking hate Pam Bondi. Like, I never thought I could be so repulsed by someone.
Is that girl?
Yeah. Like, at this point, like, if if somebody is in the White House and they have a cross around their neck and they're on camera, you know you're about to hear the most unchristian shit you've ever heard.
Are these mostly Republicans?
Yeah, this is Republicans now. Or conservative. Yeah, this stuff. Terminate Katie Cullen's press credentials. It's all the same shit. Like, people just keep saying the same thing over and over again. It's a swarm. It's crazy. But it's also sort of fascinating because you can see how public opinion shifts, and you can see how people will try to sell an idea.
So they're coming at Americans, not only immigrants, for freedom of speech.
Oh, you didn't know this?
I mean, I thought they were coming after naturalized citizens because of racism. But now they're coming at a white girl, you know, who was born here, probably, most likely.
Send man-face packing. This is referring to Kitty Collins looking manly. Anyways, I could go on with many, many more, but I think they all say the same thing, basically. So, enough of that. But some of that, too, had to do with Abrego Garcia. So, let me see if I get this right. There's a person named Abrego Garcia, and he's a citizen of El Salvador. And if I understand correctly, his brother maybe was targeted by a gang to join a gang, and his brother refused. Or maybe his brother got killed. But at some point, he was being recruited to join this gang, MS-13. And he didn't want to join the gang. Also, I think he's a gay hairstylist or something. But he came to the United States, and he I don't know if he has exactly asylum or what it is, but he has protected status here in the United States.
He has a temporary protected status. That's when you apply for asylum, and they don't think they should grant you asylum. They grant you no, not temporary protected status. Sorry, it's withholding of removal status.
Okay.
So instead of granting you asylum, they grant you withholding of removal. That means they can revisit your asylum case anytime, and either grant you or revoke your asylum, or deny you asylum.
Okay. So they had this guy. He was in the plane, and a federal judge tried to intervene and said that you guys cannot deport this guy. And the plane was midair, so they didn't listen to the ruling, and they deported him. And then the Supreme Court of the United States stepped in and ruled 9-0 that Trump is in the wrong. And they sent him to this Supermax facility in El Salvador. And a lot of people are praising this guy, Bukele. Nayib Bukele. And
So these 9 people are not conspiring against Trump. It would be so crazy to say, oh, these hate Trump and they're conspiring against him because they hate him, because they're jealous.
Yeah. Hold on a second here. Are we still live on the
Instagram? Yeah, you are.
What about TikTok?
No.
Oh, let me do this again.
Oh, hold on. No. I was wrong. You might be live, actually.
We've got to do that stuff that you got to do when you want to get good at
Yes,
a podcast.
you are live.
You've got to just sort of buy time and spend hours talking, look for opportunities to think of witty things to say.
Exactamente.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people that have podcasts, and sometimes I'll see they'll stream for like 8 hours straight. I've never sat through one of those episodes, but I'm sure that they have a lot of ideas that are passed back and forth with their followers. All right, so so this Bukele, he became president of El Salvador. Now, El Salvador did have a really high murder rate. Some people say it was the murder capital of Central America. And Bukele came to power, and he's made murders have dropped significantly in El Salvador. And that's a good thing. I mean, that's a good thing. The problem is it doesn't seem like he's stopping there. You know, it's very suspicious, the stuff this guy's doing. He has this maximum security prison where nobody ever leaves. Nobody leaves. And I can't even find stories about families being allowed to go and pick up their loved ones after their loved ones die in prison. And they do die in prison, even if they're not executed. I mean, they talk about people there fighting to death over food. And then to add to it, Bukele has made Bitcoin the country's national currency. So now they're dealing with Bitcoin, which is literally the currency for mobsters and gangsters, for black market crimes. So how do people know that he's not basically just has a human organ factory? I wouldn't be surprised if he is executing prisoners en masse and selling their organs on the international market. I mean, mark my words. Mark my words.
Babe, America, the most ethical country in the world. You know what they do in ICE deportation centers? They perform a hysterectomy on the females there, so they don't reproduce. They do that here in America to innocent people.
How often does that happen?
I don't know, but it happens. If that happens in a first world country, you can only imagine what happens in a third world country like El Salvador. Is it? I don't know if El Salvador is a third world, but I would assume so.
So it's definitely a banana republic. You know, the top 10 wealthiest people in El Salvador make 50 times the bottom 10% of people. But also, so since Bukele came to office, you know, there's a lot of problems that come along too when you start mass arresting and mass incarcerating people. You get some bad guys off the street, but you get a lot of people off the street that their families need. People that aren't criminals, people that probably could do just fine if they're not threatened by other violent gang members. So, I mean, poverty has actually increased since Bukele came to office. Poverty's increased. Inflation in El Salvador is much higher than inflation in other countries in North, South America, Central America. Let's see here. Let me show you some stuff. Let me show you some stuff on Bukele.
Bukele's allies also fired top judges and packed the courts with loyalists.
That is incredibly appealing to a lot of people in Trump's orbit as well. The idea that if a judge is trying to block you, then you can just basically get rid of them and just carry out your agenda.
Bukele's new court allowed him to run again in a consecutive term. Trump himself hasn't ruled out running for a third term.
People are asking me to run, and there's a whole story about running for a third term. I don't know. I never looked into it.
Investiguemos a todos los que están acá. Para atrás y para adelante. Yo me imagino que pues no hay ningún problema, ¿no?
You guys want to know what that reminds me of? I made this. This is...
Le quiero pedir en público.
Mark my words. Bukele is going to turn into someone like a Saddam Hussein. I want to be wrong. I want people to find this recording of me saying this and say I was a complete idiot. say like I was a fearmonger. I want to be a fearmonger. I think this guy is crazy. He got rid of judges who pushed back against the things he wanted to do. He's unconstitutionally. He ran for a second term, which was unconstitutional in El Salvador, but he's bending the rules. He's a strong man. And right now it's easy, like it was different with Saddam Hussein. Saddam Hussein, that video was from 1979 where life was different, and that was the Middle East. This is 2025. In, Central America, but Central America is basically North America. You've got to put on a presentation. You have to have some semblance of civility. But look at these. Have you guys seen the videos from CCOT? Let me show you this.
Said he was not able to make that happen.
Not that one. Okay, so this is an aerial version. This is an aerial view of Seacock, or one area there. So look here, you have on the left side, you have the area where there's nothing, it looks clean back there. You've got two houses or two buildings, and then move over to the right. It looks like it looks like a slaughterhouse. And then you look to the far right, and it looks like a pool of dried blood and a pile of cadavers. Do those look like? Does that look like a mass execution to you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it looks like.
And if they want to call this conspiracy theory, then where did it come from? There you go. It came from this.
Come on, guys. Let me show you. Let's put this in context. Can we... Can we agree that World War II, that the Nazi Holocaust was bad? Can we agree on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, if the Nazi Holocaust was bad, what do you call this stuff? Look at this. Let me put some pictures just to make comparison. Look at that. What am I missing? What am I missing?
Except that at the Nazi Holocaust, people look malnourished. On the left, on the CCOT pictures, they look well nourished. Maybe they keep them healthy to harvest their healthy organs.
Yeah, so they could keep them healthy to harvest their organs. Also, these pictures came at the end of World War II also. So keep in mind that at the end of the war, there were way less resources. So if the prisoners in the concentration camps aren't getting fed, or occasionally they're being fed, they probably weren't getting fed almost at all towards the end of the war because there wasn't the resources. Logistics were drying up. Fewer and fewer resources were available. So that's different too. You're looking at pictures from prisoners towards the end of World War II versus people that potentially just arrived in CCOT. And also, these are the people they may have allowed their picture to be taken. It's very suspicious what's going on. me show you. Let's look at this guy.
I thought criminals go to prison.
Yeah, I mean, you saying he's a criminal?
Yeah.
All right, guys. Let's look at. Let's do some a dive into the dark triad traits. You guys know what dark triad traits are? Dark triad traits are basically narcissists and sociopaths, and the characteristics that define a psychopath, basically.
Psychopath, sociopath, narcissistic personality disorder.
Yeah. So let's read this. Nayib Bukele's leadership style aligns with dark triad traits. He shows narcissism through a cult of personality, calling himself the world's coolest dictator and obsessing over popularity polls while seeking global admiration. His Machiavellianism is evident in strategic power moves, like using emergency powers to silence dissent, control the media, and scapegoat critics, consolidating his autocratic rule. Psychopathy appears in his lack of empathy, seen in brutal crackdowns on marginalized groups and mass arrests. Though interpretations may vary due to cultural context, these traits, narcissism, manipulation, and callousness, shape his polarizing governance. That's 100% true.
Babe, it was not there though.
No, I was reading it.
Yeah, but you.
Oh, I can show.
It was not on the screen when you were reading it.
I was intentional.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's like again, you guys wait and see. It's not going to. Just like when it came to Israel, like I knew like Israel's not going to redeem itself in the eyes of the world until they do something, until they make a drastic change. And Bukele is not going to become more popular over time. If anything, he's going to become less and less popular as more and more people start seeing through the cracks. You know, like people don't like mass exterminating other people.
I mean, it would be fair if these people are.
Kill more.
It would be fair if these people are criminals, but they're never tried. You know.
They're tried they're tried. You know, 100 people tried all at once, and it's not an actual trial. I mean, it's just an abstract thing. I mean, it's
not fair trial. You know.
To be locked up in CCOT, all you must do is be guilty by association. That's it. Guilty by association. That's what they're trying to say with this Garcia guy. He's guilty by association. He had a Bulls hat on. He must be. He's from El Salvador. We're a Bulls hat.
Does that mean I'm guilty by association to you because you speak out against Israel?
I mean, I hope not.
But that's what's happening nowadays here.
Yeah.
People are guilty by association, you know? Same. It's the same thing. Are we turning into El Salvador?
I had a Senator Van Hollen, actually flew to El Salvador to try to meet with Garcia to make sure he was okay. And then that kind of turned into a firestorm too. First of all, you had this lady, Patty Morin, I think. Is her name Patty Morin? Yeah, Patty Morin. So her daughter was killed by an illegal immigrant. And it's horrible. But then people used her tragedy. They brought her on national TV to try to use her to say whataboutism. Like, why would you feel sorry for this guy because that happened? Why would you feel that when this happened? You know, it's like you can't have empathy. You can't think both things are bad. I mean, it's
exactly like the thing Israel is doing. Because there is Hamas among the Palestinians, all Palestinians are bad. That's what they're saying. Because there's one bad immigrant, all immigrants are bad. Therefore, we should punish them all.
Mm-hmm.
Collective punishment. There you go.
President Trump is very nice and cool, and I'm nice and cool too. So we both use Twitter a lot, so we'll get along.
Nice and cool. What else we got here?
Nice and cool.
I just landed at the airport in San Salvador a little while ago. I'm now en route into the city, looking forward to meeting with the team from the American Embassy.
That was Senator Van Hollen when he landed in El Salvador. I saw something that was so the other day French Prime Minister Emmanuel Macron tweeted something about Palestine. I think recognizing Palestine as a independent state or something. And Netanyahu's son responded to him on X, and it became a whole thing. And so I saw some of that occurring before my eyes. Let me see here. Let me find the original text. Okay. So it began with Emmanuel Macron tweeting, I'm reading all sorts of things here about our intentions for Gaza. Here is France's position. It is clear. And then went into some detail. Anyways, so what was important was Yair Netanyahu's response. He said, screw you. Screw you. Yes to independence of New Caledonia. Yes to independence to New French Polynesia. Yes to independence of Corsica. Yes to independence of the Basque Country. Yes to independence of French Guinea. Stop the neo-imperialism in France and West Africa. So France was a colonial power at one time, and they still have a lot of maybe leftovers from colonialism. But unfortunately, like the point that Yair was making, it landed on deaf ears, or it fell short. It fell flat. Just actually, let me pull it back up here. Let's analyze this. Okay. French Polynesia. French Polynesia is part of France. If you're born in French Polynesia, you're a French citizen. Now, I mean, France has a couple ways they do citizenship. If you're born in a French territory and your parents are French, you're a French citizen. If you're born in a French territory and one of your parents is stateless, you're also a French citizen. So it's a very generous law that France has for people. But you see, when you live in France, if you're in a French territory, you have 100% rights. You have 100% political rights, 100% economic rights. You're not targeted for being from French Polynesia. Same thing with Corsica. I mean, it's an island, right? Corsica's an island, right?
I don't know.
In the Mediterranean, yeah. But people that live in Corsica have full national rights, full French national rights. They can vote in French elections. Yes to independence of the Basque Country. Again, you guys, the Basque Country would be South France. Most of the Basque population is in Spain. But people that live in the Basque region have full and equal rights, full citizenship. Nobody in France is targeted for being Basque. It's not a thing. I mean, it was a thing for a while in Spain, not in France. French Guinea. Actually, guys, that's Guinea became an independent country in 1958. So it became an independent country long ago.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he meant of French Guyana, which is in South America. But again, in French Guyana, people have full French citizenship, full rights. So comparing that to what's going on in Israel, Israel is an apartheid state. I don't know why we have to talk about this over and over again. Like, why? What are we debating? I mean, Americans, they know the difference. We know the difference. And I think that nobody would even worry about Palestinians having an independent country if they weren't targeted and abused and under so much threat of neglect and privation as Palestinians in Israel are. You know, you guys could make them full citizens. You could give them full rights.
Problem solved.
Yeah, problem solved. Like, yeah, if you're going to take a few generations of some serious mental, like, help, these people are going to be so screwed up from all this stuff.
Do you know what they say to that?
Oh,
they can go to Jordan and Egypt.
Yeah. I know.
Because they're Arabs. They never lived there. They're Arabs.
Yeah. I get it. Marjorie Taylor Greene. I saw some stuff with Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's a congresswoman. And she's one of those people who's just super vocal about how Democrats are the bad guys. Like, Democrats. Like, she's one of those people that's like talking to a child. Like, who's the bad guy? Democrats. Clean your room or the Democrats will get you. Go to bed or the Democrats will come in here and get you. Guys, and she's also obsessed with AOC. This is a video of Marjorie Taylor Greene before she became a congresswoman.
If you want to talk to Crazy Ocasio, you come to this little thing and you open it up and you whisper into her. This is confession. This is Ocasio confession right here.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, I'm an American citizen. I pay your salary through the taxes that you collect from me through the IRS. If you want to be a big girl, you need to get rid of your diaper and come out and be able to talk to the American citizens instead of us having to use a little flap.
Why do you seem so scared? All I wanted to do was play with you.
Diaper, boo-boo. What do you think when you see someone acting like that? A grown adult. Crazy?
Yeah.
Fucking crazy. And of course, here's Marjorie Taylor Greene talking about...
How do people go to Congress and become multimillionaires in a few years on a $175,000 salary? Mr. Walter, I do not know. I haven't found that money tree up there in Washington or printing machine that they all seem to have. It's amazing, truly amazing. Yeah. Nancy Pelosi, I tell you what, supposedly she has some great stock tips. Y'all should check her out.
So that was her talking about how, people get elected and they go to Washington, D.C. and they start doing things that are corrupt and they take money and
They become
embezzlement.
multimillionaires.
Multi-millionaires. This is a build-up. It's gonna be funny. Here's.
There is direct evidence of wire transfers in the millions coming from China that go directly into people who served as so-called consultants and held LLCs that took the money directly from their bank accounts and paid out different members of the Biden family.
Oh, okay. This is just green settlement. Fine, Democrats. Here's some more.
Here in the news, we're just finding out about the situation with FTX and the cryptocurrency. So is American people's taxpayer dollars going to fund aid in Ukraine, but yet it's really funding something else that's happening, maybe ending up in Democrat donors' pockets?
Maybe in Democrats. The Democrats. Marjorie Taylor Greene also denies leaving a pipe bomb outside D.C. headquarters on January 6th or January 5th. We have she denies being this person. According to Marjorie Taylor Greene, this is not her. It's not how she walks. It's not how she walks. That's how she walks. Like that.
And you don't have to have a gym membership. You don't.
That's how she walks. So she denies being the person that left the pipe bomb. And she denies being this person. She denies that.
What is this? What did she do?
I don't know if she did or not. Some people have suspected that she was a person. They remember when they had January 6th and you had the riots at the Capitol? Mm-hmm. The night before, you had someone left a bomb outside the Democrat headquarters.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So that was a video of someone leaving a bomb. See here. Here's a side-by-side of Marjorie Taylor Greene and the bomb suspect. In no way having shoes that are similar.
FBI can't find the pipe bomber? This is ridiculous. This shows you that the FBI doesn't care about finding the pipe bomber because they know exactly who the pipe bomber is.
Guys, is she prodding the FBI? I
Over 2,000 pages of jaw-dropping information. There's basically an enterprise wrapped around Joe Biden involving not only multiple family members, more than we thought there were, but other people as well.
Here we have her talking about how describing the real enemies of America.
And politics is a blood sport. And because it is so difficult and you have to fight as hard as possible, and Steve, you know what that's like, we have to dig in sometimes and we have to do everything we can to stop our enemy. And the enemy is the Democrat Party. That's the enemy of America.
Okay. So, almost ready.
FBI can't find the pipe bomber? This is ridiculous. This shows you that the FBI doesn't care about finding the pipe bomber.
Trying to find it. I want to actually go back and do this. Try to make this a real. Need to get it organized real fast. Okay, so Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. It's the Congresswoman that denies being a person who left a pipe bomb outside D.C. headquarters on January 5th. All right, Marjorie Taylor Greene, of course, denies being this person. Denies being the potential pipe bomber. Here's a video of it.
There is direct evidence of wire trans.
I'm trying to find the video I have of her walking again. Why did that one disappear on me? Oh well. So anyways, she's always trying to catch Democrats doing something corrupt, which is why it was so surprising the other day when right after Donald Trump's tariff freeze, she handed in a financial disclosure form that showed her making hundreds of thousands of dollars off what is potentially insider trading. So this is her disclosure report. All the stocks she bought. And not only that, not only did she buy stocks right before Donald Trump did a 90-day tariff freeze, but she also bought a large amount of bonds before all that happened. So she made money off the bond market and off the stock market. Just a weird coincidence. And also her ex-husband and her boyfriend are both kind of weird. This is her boyfriend talking to Zelensky.
Do you ever? Why don't you wear a suit?
Like, they're just dicks. Like, Marjorie Taylor Greene is the person that told some British reporter the other day that she doesn't care what the reporter thinks because they're British. Her husband, I gotta actually compliment her ex-husband, Perry Green. He got into some hot water recently, and he did a good 180 to get himself out of hot water, but he was in a parking garage, and there were some Muslim girls out there praying, and he drove up to them and just started saying real asshole things. Let's see here. If this is the right one.
Okay. That's perfect. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Okay. That's perfect. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. That's good. Oh. Did we bother you personally though?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. You can.
You see, like, y'all want to kill gays, y'all want to do all kind of crazy. Where y'all from? What country?
It doesn't matter where we're from. It does not, though. Why does it matter to you, though?
That's because you're worshiping a false god.
No.
Yes.
Are you Christian?
Yes.
Not the same God, bro. All right, that's. Okay.
Y'all come from your crazy countries and act like you're gonna bring your shit.
Anyways, so after that happened, he actually he did not commit a crime, but there was potential for them to file a lawsuit, and he actually ended up settling with them and making a public apology, everything. Like, he went to a mosque and talked with people there and kind of did a full 180, and I've got to say, wow, that took some humility.
I just wanted them to know that I humbly apologize to them because nobody should be treated that way, and that's not the right way for us to treat anybody with any differences. And that's what we came to do, and hopefully they'll find it in their hearts to forgive me, and that we shouldn't allow that in our society.
Do you know that you could go to jail for being racist? You can go to jail for up to 30 years for being racist.
Where?
In America.
No, you can't.
Yes, you can.
Well, like a hate crime?
No, like if you take Confederate flag to a birthday of black people, you can face consequences based on that.
Okay.
And yeah, hate crime. Like if I prove that my neighbor who slashed my tires is doing that out of like hate, it's gonna be like more consequences than if it's personal motive.
Anyways, also Marjorie Taylor Greene serves on the oversight committee, so of course she would never partake in insider trading. So her husband, Perry Green, I think he settled something like, I'll see if I have it right. Maybe he ended up paying them $75,000. Let me look up the Perry Green settlement. Something like Perry. Yeah, so he ended up paying them $75,000, and I think he wrote the check to their mosque. So, but I think maybe
he didn't want any charges to be pressed on him.
There was no charges. That he didn't commit a crime. It was literally, he just did it because I think it was for his public image.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he acted like an ass. I mean, it was pretty childish. I mean, this is the way little kids act, or elementary school kids act.
Which a lot of Americans are immature, it adds to it.
Yeah. Is that because I eat my crayons?
You eat your crayons?
Yeah, it's a joke.
Yeah, you kind of are sometimes. Like, it's an American thing.
Okay, let's see what else we got here. Trying to think what else we have. What else is going on right now in the news? Let's just take a look and see. Make sure everything's live still. And it'll probably not do the live. I don't know. I'm just debating on whether we should keep doing live stuff. Takes such different prep time.